hello, or welcome to the live stream, shall I say. I wanted to go live today because I have this super important information that I just have to share with you, because this is something that I've also been going through and also went through more harshly in the past. And that is like when we are on the journey to manifesting our dreams, but more importantly, getting paid to live in our purpose, getting paid to play, the thing that happens a lot of the time is that we have these major creative blocks that keep getting in our way because we are creative people, right? We are people that want to share our purpose, want to share our passion, and that is the thing that we know is going to get us obviously like paid to exist, live in our purpose, play, have fun, adventure, whatever your values are, right? And this is going to be one thing that I'm going to mention here, is that a lot of the times we're getting distracted by all of the things going on around us and we get out of touch with our values. So there's going to be two things here that I'm going to say that are blocking us from getting paid to exist, because we're like, first of all, we're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't really know like fully who I am. Like, what can I offer the world? What can I do? Like, and we're very much stuck in this like masculine workplace mindset, like worker bees that like society's made us into, right? And it's so hard to crack out of this cocoon of obviously molding yourself for the job, right? You're like trying to create a business, and it's like you're trying to create a job for yourself so you can be your own boss. But in the world of creation, it's the complete opposite of that, which is why I've titled this to stop asking yourself, how can I do more, but how can I play more? Because that is where true adventure is, that is where true passion lies. So stop asking yourself, how can I do more, in terms of the first mistake, which is basically these harsh business models, harsh business advice, harsh business structure. It's so harsh. Like, it's very masculine. When you imagine like a masculine container, it's very masculine. The word business in itself is so masculine. And if that resonates with you more so, then that's fine. But in the world of creation, everything's very free flowing. It's very heart centered. It's more feminine, right? And like the word business in the business world and all the business advice, all the business books, like this is why I never resonated with it, right? I used to watch business videos all the time. Oh my god, even Rich Dad Poor Dad, like it's all about investing and stuff, which is very great, don't get me wrong. But like the advice out there is it knocks us off our rockers. Like it's literally not aligned for a lot of people nowadays. Like in the 1900s, it was like, go set up an oil rig, you know, go create a steel company. Like, where's the space for creative people, right? So this whole this harsh business model, it keeps us in our heads and it takes us out of our hearts, and we're like, what do I do? How do I set up my business? I need to create a business. I need to do this. Then I need to earn enough money in order to get paid to do this. I need to earn enough money to live. And what's the structure? So I need to create an Instagram profile. I need to create a YouTube profile. Oh yeah, by the way, if you have any questions, just dump them in the comments below, because it's going to be like an interactive live. That's the way that I have fun the most, I think. And I think that's the way you guys have the most fun as well. Hello, yeah, this is my Stanley Cup. And it's like, we're through this structure of like, oh, I need to create social media, I need to purposely create and like bend myself over backwards for the algorithm, I need to create titles, thumbnails, all these ways. And this is why, guys, we haven't actually got into this space of living and playing in our passion yet, because I feel like this business structure, this business world kind of gets us out of that heart space and into our head space. And what we really need to be doing is not doing more, but instead getting in tune with our creativity more. Getting in tune with our purpose, our personality, our life energy, right? Like our life force energy. That's what we need to be getting in tune with. And when you start playing more, when you start having fun more, that is when you'll get the creative ideas. That is when you'll get the creative push and the feeling of, oh, I want to do this. Like, I feel like doing this thing right now. I don't know why, but I feel like doing it. I want to do this thing. I don't know why, but it just feels fun with me right now. That is when your inner child comes out. Your inner child starts to play. That is the suppressed you. That is one of your shadows actually coming out right there when you start to let your inner child play. That is your true self coming out. That is the side of you that will get paid to exist. That is the side of you that has your unique light in, the side of you that is the most magnetic, all of these things. This is like your heart aligned self. And when you start getting in tune with the creativity and taking the inspired action, like this is literally inspired action, that is when you will literally start to get, like, you will get those ideas then. Oh my god, that's a really cool idea. I'm gonna go and do videography. I'm gonna go and post an Instagram post. I'm gonna go and, I don't know, whatever it is for you, right? I'm gonna go, you know, I want to create a movie script. I want to start creating music. And then you're like, oh my god, now I'm in my creative flow and I'm outside. I'm literally looking from outside of myself now. My old self is like the version of me that was creating a business and creating the masculine structure of, oh, this is my goal and therefore I need to come up with A to Z on how to do it, which is the opposite of manifesting potency, right? We don't want to be thinking about the how anyways. We want to be leaving it to the universe. We want to be allowing our heart to give us the answers. So that's another thing. It works for manifestation as well, which is why it's so interesting to do it all together. But that is when it all starts to happen, right? Is when we get rid of the business side, we start getting in tune with our creativity, and we actually start playing more, like literally just playing. And essentially, the second part, the second massive mistake is, so again, if you have any questions about this, just ask in the comments. The second massive mistake that we make, that is literally huge. I have loads of, you know, have loads of notes as well for the live stream so I don't forget to actually talk about them. But the second massive mistake that we're making here, that we need to be playing more, right, is consuming more. This is like the biggest part here, right? Consuming more before we start doing. And I was in this trap so hard, guys, over the last few years, and it's only literally in the last few months since I created this YouTube channel actually that I started to create a lot more than I was doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm still doing the shadow work around it and I'm still working on actually creating more than doing and consuming. And it was because I was stuck in the world of creating books. One more book and then I'll be ready. One more YouTube video, then I'll be ready. One more course or membership or whatever it is, and then I'll be ready. And when I started to actually start creating, then I started to realize what I wanted to do with my life. And then my unique passion, my unique purposes started to reveal themselves when I started taking the action. Okay, so this is the opposite kind of problem here. So you've got being too consumed in the masculine container of the business and restricting your energy in your feminine creation, right? Which is like the 80% is like the energy, right? But now the second biggest problem is consuming too much content and getting stuck in that 80% consumption, like feminine, just sitting there in your own energy and doing nothing. Then you've got a problem with the action side, right? So you've got like the 20%. You're missing the 20%. So manifestation, dream life creation, it's like you've got the 100%, 20% of it is the action, 80% is the energy. This problem here is in the energy. You have so much energy that you don't know what to do with it. And so instead of using the energy, you use it to then consume more, like more books, more YouTube videos, more 3-minute YouTube videos, more 30-second TikToks, right? And then you again getting stuck in your head because you're like, video ideas, oh, maybe I should take my business in this direction. Well, that person, they do their business on Instagram. That person does it on YouTube. So maybe I should do it on Instagram, and then maybe I'll do it on YouTube. Maybe I'll start talking about this. Maybe I should dress like this. And then you lose yourself. This is where we're literally losing ourselves, right? We are getting stuck in the consuming world then, and we're not playing enough. We're not playing in our creation. We're not playing in our divine light and our divine purpose. And then we're like, what do I do with my life? Like, when is it going to happen? When is my thing going to happen? When is my manifestation going to come? Well, then you're not doing enough, right? And honest to God, you guys, I used to think I was so productive. Like, I really used to think I was so productive. I was like, every day I will listen to my audiobook on the way driving to the gym, or driving to the my office, driving to wherever, I don't know, wherever I was going that day. And then when I get home, I literally sit there and I watch YouTube all night. I only watch productive business videos. Like, I don't watch any random thing. I don't want to watch any TikTok. But then I thought I was doing so good, and I thought I was being super productive. But then I was like, okay, but I'm now years down the line, and although I've had so many businesses, I'm still no more in tune with my dream reality. Yeah, I've made money, I've made lots of money, I've done this, I've done that, but I'm still not in tune with my dream reality. And that's when I realized that it wasn't all about the money, because not all money brings us freedom, right? A lot of people, they'll manifest money, but they'll manifest effort with it, when what they truly wanted by wanting money was freedom. They thought that by having money they have freedom, because then they have time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. So they think that by manifesting the money, that provides everything. But what they don't realize is that when they manifest the money, they've just been focusing on the money and not everything else that they want. So then they manifest the money, but then they manifest something that ties time to money, like another business, for example. And then they're suddenly stuck in literally another 9 till 5. This is what I did, guys. 3 years ago, I manifested a business. It did loads of money. Then, literally, after earning like 50k a month every single month, I was like, what now? Like, I go to my office every day, I work all day long, I have money, but now I'm bloody stuck. I don't travel, I don't go anywhere, I don't do anything that's really that fun anymore. Like, there's no adventure anymore. I don't want to be someone else's boss in a physical building. I want to be able to travel to Bali, Japan, to America. I want to travel the world. I don't want to be just another person that works another 9 till 5, because then I'm no better than my old bosses, right? Like, I'm literally created another business for myself, right? So anyways, I'm going off a little bit off topic here, but this is what happens when we go for like one singular thing, right? We don't manifest all the specificities, should we say? Oh my God, don't tell me no. My ring light's just died. You guys, this is terrible. Okay, maybe I could just use my iPad as a lamp. Okay, this is terrible. We'll just have to go with it. We're already 13 minutes in anyways, but I'll answer some of your questions in a minute. So we get so confused with information overload, and then we end up getting so distracted by the world that we're suddenly now out of our creativity, out of our purpose. We're not playing anymore, and suddenly we're stuck in, again, the world of business by consuming more content, and we're not creating anymore. And by the way, this is knocking off our nervous system. Overconsumption of content knocks off your nervous system. Overconsumption of information, getting confused between good information and information overload, is something that I feel like a lot of people now in this day and age, they don't see the fine line. They don't see the difference between good information and information overload. So then they wonder why their nervous system is off balance, why they still haven't created their dream life or their dream business. They don't work for themselves yet, because literally they are consuming so much in order to get closer to that dream life, but they're actually this isn't recorded now. I'll answer your questions in a second. But they're actually pushing themselves further away by observing and like consuming all of this content, right? they're like, oh, I'm doing more by doing this, but they're actually doing less by consuming so much content. And then again, they're getting stuck in the business mindset, because so many people out there, they create business information, and again, it's very masculine. And if you're in the space of energetics and creativity, and you're out there to get paid to be you, then it's your creativity that is going to get you paid to be you, not your masculine structure of the business and the A to Z and the advertising and all this other rubbish that we're not out here to get, right? That is for the people that want that type of business. But if you're here on this channel, then you probably don't want that type of business. So this is something that I used to get so messed up with. Consuming content, knocking off my nervous system, and then my nervous system was so dysregulated that my creation was then not there. Like, I wasn't in tune with my heart because I was so in tune with my mind. I was constantly trying to relax and like just calm down, right? I was literally thought I had ADHD. Like, if you've heard of my old videos, I will talk about how I have ADHD from last year. Then I realised it wasn't ADHD, it was just my nervous system was off balance. Like, if you struggle with anxiety, for example, you might not even have anxiety, it might just be your nervous system that is literally just off balance. And when your nervous system is off balance, you're going to really struggle with getting in tune with your creativity and getting in tune with your heart, and hence getting in tune with who you are, what you came here to do, your purpose, your passion. Then you are not going to be able to create because your creativity is off. But yeah, so I'm going to answer questions about the topic. I'll do a manifestation video tomorrow. Well, Paid to Exist is out tomorrow. The launch is 5 p.m. if you're in the UK. I don't know what that converts to in America, because you guys have got like 4 different time zones or something in America, haven't you? In the UK, we just have one. So 5 p.m. GMT, convert to your time. That's when Paid to Exist is going to be out. And I'm also going to go live tomorrow as well at 5. So if you have any questions about the program, you can ask it then as well. That program is kind of a balance between manifesting shadow work and also just getting paid to exist in general, the light work and everything. So if you want to manifest, that program is definitely the first thing to do. And then later down the line, I'll create like a full manifestation program. But before you do that program, you have to do the shadow work to uncover the shadows, of course. So yes, if you have any questions about this kind of topic, then pop them in the comments and I'll answer them. And then if you have any questions about manifestation, I'll answer those in tomorrow's live, because that'll be relating to Paid to Exist and all the stuff that you can do to accelerate your manifestations. In terms of play, is it anything we want as long as we're having fun? Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will kind of get confused with like, oh, if I'm having fun, then I'm wasting time, right? But it's actually the opposite. When you're having fun, you need to be like observing what you determine as fun, like what lights you up, like what lights your soul up. What is fun to you is not fun to someone else. So therefore, that's your unique play then. That's going to be different to someone else's play, right? And that's the great thing, because every single person on this earth has a different definition of play and fun, which means that every single person on this planet has a different unique offering that they can get paid for, right? And it'll be different to another person's. And then we all learn from each other, right? We all take each other's information in. We all invest in ourselves through other people. These are all other people, right? So there's something you're going to be able to offer, right? Something you're going to be able to be good at. And usually, again, I talk about this in Paid to Exist, but I'll just give you one of the things now. When we're playing and having fun and it lights us up, that's usually an indication of something that we're really good at. So if you're really good at something, you will enjoy it, right? You're not going to do it and be good at it if you don't enjoy it. So if you play and you're having fun, it's a very good indication of how you can use that then to get paid to exist. So for example, when I was a child, I used to make videos just for the shits and giggles, essentially. I used to literally get pom bears, the crisps in the UK. They were little bears and I'd just smash them into each other, create little skits with my friend on holiday. We'd make vlogs when I was like 11. I'd always make my parents buy me like a disposable camera every year when we went on holiday, just so that I could take pictures, mess around, and literally just talk smack to the camera about what was going on, what I was doing with my day and everything. And now literally I am getting paid to create those videos, talk smack about things that people aren't interested in, don't care about in my real life. So no one cares about manifestation in my real life. No one that I know is into self-development at all, bear in mind, whereas that's one of my top values, is self-development. So no one talks about this stuff that I know, so now I get paid to actually do that, right? Whereas like I can't do it to anyone else. And if I'd have listened to everyone else being like, oh, that's just your interest, Charlotte, no one else has that interest, like, you know, just keep it to yourself, then I wouldn't have created a YouTube channel. I wouldn't have, you know, done all of the things I've done in the last few months. I wouldn't have gained any subscribers. Like, I wouldn't have done anything, right? I wouldn't be having fun living my purpose now if I hadn't have followed what I liked to do in a fun way. And this is one of the biggest questions that so I have like a few big self-discovery questions that we talk about in the shadow work part of Paid to Exist, but one of those that I always talk about on this channel is, if I had all the money in the world and money wasn't a problem, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do for the rest of my life? This scares the absolute crap out of a lot of people, because the amount of people, you know, both of my grandparents before they retired fully scared themselves so much that they became ill because they were so scared to retire and become bored, like bored out of their minds, that they made themselves ill. My one granddad, he literally got so ill from being worried about when I retire, what am I gonna do with the rest of my life? That was a scary question. So this might be a scary question for a lot of people. When you first think about it, you're like, oh my God, amazing, all the money in the world, like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, like I'm gonna have so much fun, I'm gonna, you know, and then you start thinking about it in detail and you're like, oh, but what will I do when I've done that? What will I do when I've watched all of the movies and played all of my games and gone to the countries I want to visit? Like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna settle down, right? Like, then you start getting a little bit scared, right? And it's because you've never thought of it. Like, you think of your dreams and what you want, but what comes after that? What comes after the consumption of buying all the products, going to all the places, buying the big house? Like, what comes after that, right? Because these are all materialistic, consuming things. What comes after buying the car, buying all the healthcare products? What comes after that? What are you gonna do for the rest of your life? For me, I used to kind of ask myself similar versions of this question for a while, but it wasn't until I said, if I had all the money in the world, then what would I do? Then that's when I was like, okay, right, yes. I'd probably just create some YouTube videos, have fun, do whatever. Wait, why is the light just randomly working now? That's so weird. It went off. Now it's back on. It'll probably go off again in a second. But when I started asking myself that question, that was when I was like, yeah, I would probably go live and connect with other people around the world, create a community of people that love manifestation, and I'd talk about it with other people, like as if everyone's my friend and we're in this big friendship group or this big family, like whatever you want to call it, right? Then I was like, okay, well, this is also another step of manifestation. For some reason, it's gone into a manifestation type of video now, but whatever. Then I started saying, okay, well, where can I overlap that dream life with the one that I have now? This also relates to getting paid to exist, because once you know what your dream life looks like of you getting paid to exist, you can ask yourself this question, which is, how can I start living that life right now? Which is oftentimes just acting as if, kind of, but it's not really, because for me, acting as if can be very inauthentic a lot of the time, because people will purposely act as if, to try and convince their minds and make it believable, in which case that's inauthentic and you're still trying. So rather than acting as if and being fake about it, which again is quite a low vibration, what I say and what I teach is to actually, how can I start living that life now? Like, actually start living it without the pretend side. How can I actually start living that life? And so instead of me waiting for me to have all the money in the world and all the time in the world to start doing what I would do forever, I said to myself, how can I start doing that now? And for me, that was just creating YouTube videos, even though I have no desire to get anywhere with it. It was just, if I had all the money in the world, this is what I'd do to play. This is what I'd do to have fun. So again, if you have any questions about this, just drop them down below. I'm gonna go off soon. I'll probably go live for like 30 minutes, so you've got 5 more minutes. Other than that, I don't really think anyone watches videos for longer than 30 minutes, so I don't know, you might get bored. But that was when I actually started saying, okay, well, how can I do that now? Well, obviously I can just start creating YouTube videos. Then the logical side did kick in a little bit, so my desires went from here to like the logic, which is what happens a lot of the time. And when we start gaining the self-awareness and the emotional intelligence, we start recognizing this, which again is taught inside Paid to Exist. But when you start gaining that self-awareness, you can catch yourself in the moment and be like, yes, I've just done that. I've just gone to my head and I've gone out of my heart. Now I'm thinking, okay, well, do I have enough time for that? Is it going to fit in with my current business? Is it going to take away from my current job? Is it going to be like, is it going to make logical sense? Ignore that, okay? That is your mind trying to keep you safe, which is its number one defense mechanism. It tries to keep you safe because we're still working in the caveman era, right? It was literally just a couple of 100 years ago where you could have been eaten by a lion or died from the Black Plague. That was literally a couple of years, like literally a couple of 100 years ago. So your mind is still trying to keep you safe. And it does that by logifying, that's my word, logifying everything. Like, is this okay? Is this safe? Is this good? Is this bad, right? Whereas we need to be staying in our heart, in the creative space, outside of the harsh business model, but just enough to the point where we're taking action. So we're not consuming all the content, we're taking action. We're not getting stuck in these harsh business models of like do, structure, ads, click-through rates, bios, link, website, domain, whatever. And we're staying in the creative energy side, the 80%. So you have to have the full mixture of the 80% and the 20%. The full mixture, the full brew, right? If you go either end, it starts to get a little bit sticky and you start losing yourself a little bit. But the main way is going to be to literally just start asking yourself, how can I play more? Not how can I do more? Not how can I think more? How can I feel more, right? Stop consuming content and start creating. And one rule that's spoke about actually quite a bit when you start to keep your ears open in this community is for as much time you consume content, use that time and equally spend that amount of time creating in whatever way, guys. If you're in the beginning stages of truly self-discovering yourself, and I'd recommend this for everyone, even if you think you know yourself, because I thought I knew myself and then I started to do this and then I was like, whoa, there's actually so much to me than I realized. So I'm going to say for everyone, when you start creating, I don't mean creating for a business. I don't mean creating for an end result. I literally mean doing anything that is creating. I started to colour. I got a colouring book. I did see this on TikTok, don't get me wrong, but that was the inspired action that I took. I saw it, thought it felt desirable, I thought I would like to do that, and I did it. I bought it. So I bought an adult colouring book. I bought the pens, the really thick-ended pens that you can shade with and everything and outline and whatever, and I started drawing. Then my partner started drawing. Then I started having loads of fun. Then I started having it relaxed my nervous system. You guys, this is one thing to relax your nervous system, start colouring. Then I started getting all these creative ideas, coming through, like, oh my god, this is so fun, like, oh my god, I could do this in a business even. And then I started getting business inspiration as well. Also, it could be anything for you, whether you want to pick up a guitar, start singing, start gardening. That's creating, right? You're creating and birthing plants and, you know, taking care of your garden, whatever. Creating in whatever way you want. Painting, I kept getting the inclination to paint, and I was like, well, instead of getting all my paints out, I'll just colour. No, actually take the inspired action. That's your heart speaking. That is when you will get more directions from your intuition by listening to the intuition. Don't fob it off and say, yeah, that's a bit random, I'm not going to go and get all my paints out like I did. I'm not going to go and get all my paints out, like, what's the point? Don't do that. Like, actually do it. Actually go and do this random thing. Make time to do it, whether it's not that day, but that week. And then that is when you'll get all of the intuitive, see if we can get all the juices out this light. That is when we're going to get all of the intuitive prompts. Then you can take the inspired action, and then, oh my god, guys, instead of you being on this road now, which leads to like some random pathway that you was going on before, every time you take action, say this is your higher self, like up here, this is your, like, your pathway, right? Your soul's purpose, like your higher self's pathway. The more times you take this aligned action through the creativity, the playing, the having fun, the aligned action, you're like jumping onto a pathway closer and closer to the middle pathway, the higher self pathway. And suddenly you're like, whoa, I am so in tune with my higher self. And then you just ascend super far upwards. And if you've watched my last video about the heart alignment and how your heart is your biggest, most potent magnetic signal in your body, your most powerful manifesting tool, taking aligned action, playing, creation, having fun, that is all stuff that lights up your heart, because that's all creation, and creation is this center. It all links together, guys. That is literally everything being tied together. And when you're in line with your heart, you have the intuitive prompts, you have the you strengthen your intuition, and then boom, you're on the line to the higher self through psychology, through manifestation. My biggest topics here. We love a bit of psychology and self-concept, and we love a bit of manifestations. This is the mix together. That's what happens. Okay, right, I'm gonna go off now. I'm just gonna see if there's anything I've missed on my notes. Yeah, by sticking to business structures all the time, we're putting a dome over our potential. Yeah, if you feel like you don't really know who you are or your divine purpose or pathway or anything like that, it's probably because you're out of alignment and you're too much in your head and you're not listening to your heart enough. You're not listening to your intuition. You need to work on strengthening your intuition. And when you strengthen your intuition, your intuitive prompts and the aligned action, that will come easy. And again, if you're in your head too much, your nervous system's probably off. So yeah, it all just relates back. I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours, but I'm going to save that for another video. So I'm going to go live tomorrow, again at 5 p.m. UK time. So I'll see you tomorrow for the launch of Paid to Exist. It is on pre-sale now, so you can buy it right now on a discounted price. Tomorrow it goes up by £100 to the full price. So yeah, that's the early bird sale. But if you have any questions about that, then you've got a day until then to ask those questions and then pop them in the live. But other than that, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and I hope you enjoyed the live. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.